Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Costa, and I welcome you inside the Loft 100 studios for the inaugural edition of the AI Perimeter podcast, presented by the great people with Cloudastructure Incorporated. And this is where I duck out. Lauren, explain to the people out there who's talking and who they're learning from.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to our first podcast, AI Perimeter, where we plan to talk about AI technologies, the risks, the returns, the opportunities, and also just to hear from you, what do you want to hear? So we'll be telling you how to do that shortly. But before we get started, I'd like to introduce James McCormick.
Hello.
He is the CEO of Cloudastructure. And what is your name?
Sometimes
Okay.
I wonder myself.
Greg Smitherman, the CFO of Cloudastructure, and I am Lauren O'Brien, the Chief Revenue Officer of Cloudastructure. So we're going to just dive right in there. In the age of LLMs and ChatGPT and Gemini, how is what Cloudastructure different from some of that technology that's out there today when we typically think of AI?
It's a great question, and one that I think people really get confused because they think of AI, and when most people think of AI, they think of ChatGPT or Gemini, the large language model LLM systems, which are great if you're looking up a recipe or want to know what the score of the game was last night. But if you're trying to do something with security video, it's not the place you want to turn to. And we use a combination of AI and machine learning, which takes images and figures out what that image is. So, right, bunch of dots, what do all those dots mean? And it's teaching that computer what a car looks like, what a ball looks like, what a person looks like. And there are thousands of cars, and you and I can recognize them without thinking about it. How do you describe to a computer what that is? And how to get it well is tricky. And that's what our software does, and leverages off of other things that have been built over the years to ultimately index all the video to make it searchable and actionable. Just like Google indexes the web, we index video. And once we've done that, we can do things with it. So it's a completely different type of AI, much more focused in this image processing, image recognition area, as opposed to what an LLM is doing. Those things are great, but our AI doesn't compete with that at all. And so it's kind of saying, like, you know, I love football, but I also love baking. Both great things, completely different.
And how about the size of the opportunity?
Size of the opportunity is huge. If you look at security globally, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that is only getting bigger. And it's getting more expensive. Historically, people have utilized guards, other physical presences, which in certain situations are still important. But just like AI, LLMs are changing the way people write and do a lot of their business, we're changing the way a lot of security does their business to make it more efficient, more effective, and more profitable for not only companies like ourselves, but the people that are using it. It dramatically lowers the cost of traditional security products.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Can you give an example when you talked about indexing and search? Give an example of how one of our customers might use, right, that capability.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of our customers are in the multifamily space, so apartment buildings and the like. And let's say you're a typical property manager and you come in Monday morning. You kind of have two choices. You can come into a line of customers out your door waiting to yell at you because someone has broken into their cars over the weekend and they're furious that there wasn't security and they want to break their lease. Or you can come in and Monday morning there's an email from us saying, we chased away 3 guys with crowbars. And it's pretty easy which one you would prefer to,
Sure.
to come into.
Yeah.
We are preventing 98% of the incidences that occur where an action needs to be taken. So what our video is doing is triggering off and indexing, and it's noticing that, hey, there's someone walking through the parking garage at 2 in the morning. That's not a great thing, possibly. It might be Bob coming home late from the bars, not a problem, nothing to do. But a lot of times, it's a guy walking in with a crowbar. And that's where our guards jump into action, talk through speakers that are connected over the internet, IP speaker, and are able to say, hey, you in the blue hoodie, you're being recorded, this is on tape, you need to get out of here, we're calling the cops. And 98% of the time, that's all it takes, and that person is out the door.
Greg, does it teach itself, though, as I continue to drop my keys underneath the car and I'm looking for it? Does it identify, hey, it's just that big idiot who always drops his keys underneath his car? I know now that's not someone trying to break into a car. They've dropped something, and I don't have to alert anybody to that.
In and of itself, like a lot of people think, oh, the AI could just teach itself and learn and learn and learn.
Yeah.
It does a little bit of that, but not necessarily great.
Okay.
One of the important things we talk about is human in the loop, because AI can't do everything.
Right.
Are those two people fighting, or are they dancing? Those two actions to a computer look very similar.
Certainly.
And it kind of can't figure it out.
Well, one of the things I will say, though, that's an excellent question, is when the compute power gets there, we will be able to take those 8 million videos that we do a day and say, hey, there's that guy.
Yeah.
He's always fumbling with his keys. And it'll learn over time. I mean,
Gotcha.
we're not there yet, but I think we're going to be there in a year or two. But let's turn it over to James. James, on the physical space,
Yeah.
on the AI side, do you think enterprises are getting it right, or what are they missing?
It depends if they're getting it right or not based on a few things. Let's look at the history of security from an enterprise standpoint, right? Where did we start with? Reactive systems. Think alarm systems in your home, where you find out there's a problem after the problem happened. Not ideal, right? And it causes a lot of false alarms, and the police get ticked off in here. Second, there are enterprises that are using AI solutions, but AI in and of itself, what we were just discussing today, it's good, but without an extra step or steps in the process, it's not all that useful. That's where a solution like Cloudastructure, like Greg just mentioned, where we implement humans in the loop, can really, really make a difference, right? 8 million videos a day, right, being captured and into our servers, right, through our cloud video recorder. And we identify things that we think could be, or the system thinks could be, some sort of a threatening activity. But unless you have the humans in the loop that can actually see it and respond to it, you're not going to have the same, you would not be able to have a 98% deterrence rate like we demonstrated over and over and over again, right?
Yep.
That's what I would say.
And can you give an example of a customer where it might have clicked that this is more than just surveillance?
Yeah, I can. Recently spoke with one of our customers, and I actually asked him that question. Why are you interested in our solution? What is it that's compelling? And he set out to tell me a very, very interesting story. They're funded every year to the tune of about $800 million by CalPERS, the California retirement system, largest pension fund in the United States. And why would CalPERS be interested in investing in an organization like that? It's return on investment, right? And part of what they like about Cloudastructure is our ability to deliver demonstrable ROI, particularly in the instance of replacing physical guards with our system, right? So physical guards, they're expensive, they have vehicles, they do a moderate to okay job of surveilling the property. But our AI, it's always on, never turns off. And we've seen with other customers that in the first year, as compared to traditional guards, there's a 46% ROI in the first year, including the cost of installation and hardware in the first year. And in subsequent years, it's over 130%. So it's not just better surveillance with greater deterrence, it's demonstrable ROI.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to jump in with any
Well,
questions
you know,
you might have.
as you're talking, James, I was thinking to myself,
Yeah.
from an insurance standpoint, do your, and I have no clue about this, it's why I'm asking you, do your premiums come down if I own an apartment complex?
Yeah.
Do my insurable premiums come down because I have Cloudastructure as opposed to a human guard who something could happen, he could get to an altercation, there could be something that goes on where now I'm on the hook because I'm his employer, whereas Cloudastructure, the camera is my guard.
Yeah.
Is it affected in that way as far as ROI is concerned?
Based on what we understand today, checking the box of having some sort of security apparatus,
Okay.
be it an alarm, a guard, whatever,
Yeah.
gets you some part of a discount
Okay.
on premiums. However, that's a very, very interesting question. I think in the short term, to be able to get to additional discounts for using a sophisticated system like we provide
Right.
and operate, probably would take some lobbying. And you can just imagine, right, the amount of time,
What doesn't take lobbying
the amount
today?
of time and
We
cost,
actually have
right?
worked with a couple of insurance companies for years.
Okay.
And it still hasn't, we're not incorporated into their documents at this point in time. It does take a while, but we are seeing that people are writing down that they have sophisticated AI and getting their premiums down. The other ROI, is in vacancy rates. If people feel safer, they stay.
Yep.
100%.
If they're getting broken into, they leave.
Yeah.
So that's another one. And then just the damage control, like when the damage happens, that costs money.
Yep.
So it's really a layering of the ROI, actually. Greg, a question. I know you're not necessarily in sales, but we work together pretty
Everyone's
closely.
in sales.
But what do you think the customer's mostly thinking about when we approach them? Like risk, cost, opportunity for AI? What do you think is top of mind for them?
Well, I think probably what's top of mind for them is liability. Because liability always, right, it's what's the additional insurance cost? Am I going to get sued? Right? They're trying to protect themselves because while we have great ROI, we're still a cost and people are always looking to get rid of costs. So why come to us?
Right.
Well, if I can reduce my liability, so one of the places we have cameras are in the pool area to keep people out at night. Because that is an inherent, if someone's drowning in the middle of the night and no one's paid attention, that's a big issue. Safety, making, if you haven't taken a minimum to protect your tenants, you're going to be subject to lawsuits. So I think when they come to us, they're thinking liability. When they hear about our system and what it can do,
they start thinking opportunity.
they start thinking opportunity. My favorite story is the customer who said, before your system came in, I walked around picking up bullet shells because we had a problem. Bullet shell casings.
And now I don't.
And now I don't. And that change in security for those people and what that means to the ROI for that location is phenomenal.
All right. Well,
Amazing stuff.
I know. This is great. Very good example. It reminds me, we will post on a link with this podcast, the recent blog that we did of the multifamily crime poll that says liability is top of mind for our customers.
Absolutely.
And we also want to hear from you. So please email us at aip@cloudastructure.com. Thanks for joining us at the first episode of AI Perimeter. Thanks for introducing us, and great
My
job,
pleasure.
you guys. We'll see you next time.
More episodes to come your way. Thanks to Lauren and James and Greg. This has been the AI Perimeter podcast presented by Cloudastructure Incorporated.